The Total War Rome Remastered drop has sent tsunami waves across the Total War community. Reddit has been taken over by the historical fans, and old fogies like myself who bought and played Rome 1 when it still came in a freaking huge box with a paperback manual and a building tree poster have come out of the woodwork to give thoughts and opinions on the game, both positive and negative. In this video, I want to address some of the bigger questions or comments I've seen across the initial streams and videos that have been released, with some clarification on what's going on with the remaster in general. I certainly won't be able to answer everything you guys are asking for, as I'm very much limited on my embargo time. So if you still have questions, just be sure to drop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Lastly, in the upcoming embargoes, I will be able to show off more of the game and play much longer than in this first one. If this piques your interest, I highly recommend dropping a follow over on my Twitch channel, as I'll definitely be playing more of this when I can. That link is in the description. Now, let's dive into some clarifications and your most requested questions for Total War Rome Remastered. In the videos and streams I have watched, I believe the most phrased comment I've seen from content creators is, remember that this is a remaster, not a remake. So in the best interest of the entire community, I want to clarify the difference. A remaster is, to put it rather bluntly, an old game that gets a new coat of paint applied to it. In most remasters, the standard means keeping most, if not all, of the original content in place, faulty as it might be, and updating to current resolution scales with another layer, possibly bringing in some older mechanical functions to the current generation. A remake is starting completely over, breaking down the code, or building a completely new code where you are building an entirely new game that has the base in the older one. If you've seen anything on Pharaoh: A New Era, for instance, this is what we would call a remake, as they are starting from scratch to build a 2020 version of the old school city builder Pharaoh. Total War Rome Remastered is therefore classified as a, go figure, remaster, as Feral Interactive are not starting completely over and building a game like Rome 1 from nothing. They are taking the 2004 code, positives and negatives that might come with it, updating it to 4K, and bringing in features from newer Total War games that will help enhance the gameplay. But the core of the game itself has remained largely untouched. Is there more they could and should do? Absolutely. But no matter what it is they end up doing to revamp the game, it's still always going to be a remaster, and I think that needs to be understood the most. I saw this comment so many times during the stream and in so many videos. The game looks like a mobile game, or the UI looking like you're playing on a phone. This is a point of clarification as well, and something that everyone should take into consideration. Total War Rome Remastered is a Feral Interactive production, not a Creative Assembly one. For those that might not know, Feral Interactive has developed both an iPad and a mobile version of this game, Rome Total War. Several aspects of the user interface from those ports have indeed made it into this remastered version, namely in the battle scene. This makes sense from a business perspective on the part of Feral. Use what you have, especially if it does work. Now, the battle UI I'm personally not a fan of. I miss my boxes and my square-edged unit cards old school style. I despise the Troy unit overview thing, but I also cannot deny that the user interface setup they have for battles really does work positively towards making battles easier to comprehend on the fly. Regarding the campaign user interface, it does an excellent job of consolidating information to make things easier to understand as well. It's a fair critique that it doesn't look all too much like the original Rome Total War, but having played over 20 hours of the game already, I can tell you that this new UI setup is way better than the original, and I love what they've done with it. And let's be honest, updating all the icons to a higher resolution is simply going to look a bit jarring, no matter how exactly they look to their originals, because the old school icons are just so low res anyways. If you'll compare icon to icon, you'll notice they are almost exactly the same, which I give big kudos to Pharaoh for keeping in line. If you think the game looks too colorful and saturated compared to the original, you are indeed correct. It is way more saturated. I've already talked to the Pharaoh contacts we have, and they will consider looking into it, although that's not a guarantee if anything will happen. I think reducing the saturation by around 25 to 30% would do wonders to bring it to the levels of the original game and would satiate a large number of the community as well. This is a point of clarification I should have made in my previous video, but I'll be honest, I was a bit too excited to make it and I simply forgot to clarify. The new factions are not actually entirely new factions to the game that weren't in there before. Rather, it's the factions that weren't playable in the original game unless you went into the text files to make them playable. So factions like Pontus, Macedon, Dacia, Spain, etc. are now playable from the get-go and do not require you to meddle in files to make them work. The only exemptions in this are the Roman Senate and the Rebels. The same goes for the 8 non-playable factions in Barbarian Invasion, which I cannot show you just yet. For those wanting to know if you can play the original Rome Total War in the remastered version, the answer is absolutely yes. In the Settings tab on the faction selection screen, you'll get a breakdown on what the remastered version brings with it compared to the original Rome Total War mechanics. You can even pick and choose what you want to play with for each campaign, although I do have to admit I'm not too sure why you would even consider playing anything in the original version, as the remaster does some dang good work spiffing up the place. A very natural question to ask is, how does the performance compare to the original? With the updates and the resolution and unit quality, among other settings, the performance of the remaster is miles ahead of the original. The footage you are watching right now is me playing in 1440p on ultra settings and extreme graphics, and I'm rocking 175 FPS on the campaign map and average around 100 FPS on some bigger battles, although that can vary for sure. With the remaster, it looks like even some much older potato computers might be able to play the game at well over 60 FPS, especially when you tune some graphic settings down like sky or water quality, things that don't really matter. Alright, this question is more of something I wanted to cheekily address. It's not a comment that I saw very often at all. No, extreme unit size is not balanced for anything in the game, meaning that pathfinding, unit stats, even simple movement features are not going to work very effectively. That is something that I really hope they address quickly, because why would you give us a unit size that the community would love if it's completely broken and useless to play with? Lastly, I saw so many comments on where to buy the game that I just had to put this in. Okay, not really, but another little cheeky throw in. If you want to purchase the game and you don't already own the original, you can totally purchase it on my Nexus GG store. It supports the channel and answers your most sought after question. 2 birds with 1 stone. That'll be all on some of your most asked questions or comments from across the expanse of the YouTube and Twitch world with the Total War Rome Remastered announcement weekend. If you enjoyed this video, check out my detailed features video in the top right of your screen to get some deeper looks into the remaster, or watch my stream from Creative Assembly's channel for some live gameplay. Be sure to sub to this channel to stay up to date with content, like and comment on the video as well, and be sure to check out my Twitch channel for more content on top of that. Thanks for watching. This is Havoc, and I will see you all in the next video.